Well, good morning. And let's go ahead and if you would join me in a centering prayer, meditation, treatment, whatever name you want to call it. Let's go within to our heart of hearts, to this beautiful place and space where the divine resides, always, always giving us everything that we have need of. All the love, all the peace, all the joy, all the wisdom that we would ever need is right within us. So I'm going to ask you to, in your mind's eye, visualize your whole being filled with beautiful light. Perhaps open up your top chakra, that crown chakra, and allow this divine light to come flooding down and through your head, your neck, shoulders, arms, torso, out your legs, grounding you to Mother Earth, filling every dark spot, every spot of possible limitation, of fear, any shadow whatsoever. Let it be filled to overflowing with this golden divine light of pure energy, pure wholeness, and pure health. Feel that radiating through your body right now. And know that that is the truth of our being. And we know this truth for everyone. Let that peace that is so abiding come forth right now in its full fruition. Take a deep breath. And allow yourself to just be blessed by this energy. Blessed with the knowing that wherever I am, God, love, joy, and peace are here now in full force. So accepting this truth, knowing it is so, I am so grateful. Saying thank you, Mother, Father, God. Letting it go, knowing it is so. And I say, and it is so. Amen. Well, we find ourselves today here on March 15th, 2020 in new territory. For all of our individuals, worldwide, really. I can remember at the beginning of this year, 2020, as it came up, that, oh my gosh, this is a brand new year, brand new decade. What's it going to be like? What is it going to have in store for us? And little did I know, little did any of us know, really, that we're on the brink of this pandemic that we are in the middle of. And so before I begin, really what I want to talk about this morning with our topic, our theme for the month is serving, and the topic today is angels in disguise. I want to, though, address the elephant in the room, because I think it's important that we look at what's in front of us, acknowledge it, and then glean the lessons, the blessings that are here from it. The internet and this worldwide communication that we've been given through that source is amazing. So much information is being given today than we ever had, even 5, 10, 15 years ago. And that's wonderful. There's so many things. How many times do you go and say, ask Google something, or, Siri, what is this? It's perfect. It's wonderful. But we also know that good news doesn't really sell, and bad news does. And I'm not really one to watch the news per se, but you can't help but know, even if you don't watch the news, of everything that has transpired, literally pretty much in the last week, of changes in our society and actually globally, worldwide, especially though here in the United States, here locally, the schools are closing, libraries stopping their events, and all of the stock market. Oh my gosh, no more basketball. March Madness is stopped, and of course spring training. All of these gatherings have been put by the wayside in the event to try to curtail the spread of this coronavirus. And there are different ways to look at it, though I think that being wise, being prudent in helping to stop or helping to not at least spread this disease that we can't see, that we can't sense really, even though it's on us initially, that it's wise to take these prudent measures that we've been seeing people doing, with stopping the big gatherings and so forth, even small gatherings actually. But I'm sure all of you have seen the jokes, about the fact that the virus affects your respiratory system, and you have a fever and you have a cough. Those are the symptoms. And so why is there a run on toilet paper? It's not the other end, it's this end. And then again, people were saying, that we don't know if we're going to be hunkered down and sequestered, in our homes and not able to get out and all these kind of things. And so, it's interesting to see the response and the reaction from the government, from all of the entities, and from individuals. So to me, here's the elephant in the room. We need to acknowledge it. Absolutely. And I think we need to recognize that it is wise to take some precautions that we are aware of. I think that's just a prudent thing to do. But what is unwise? What's the unwise thing to do? Is to go into a fear mode about this. I received a text from someone yesterday indicating that there were only 3,000 deaths that have occurred worldwide through this. That number didn't seem quite right to me. Again, I don't watch the news, so I don't know the specific numbers. But we need to recognize it's here. And the thing of it is the fact that fear, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And in this human experience, fear is one of the elements that we deal with. It's just kind of a natural response that comes up for us. And so you want to recognize that. You don't want to sweep it under the rug, ignore it, and because when you put something under the rug, what happens? It makes a big bump and you trip on it. You want to bring it up in the open. And so I have been seeing, I do go on Facebook, and I've been seeing some of our wonderful teachers, our spiritual teachers that feed me and many, many others, have come out and of giving their wisdom, their help, and how can we respond to these things. One of them was Rick Moss, and he is a wonderful teacher. I just love him. And he has been doing this work for 30 years or more on helping people go within, bring up whatever in their subconscious to the forefront so that it can be exposed, recognized, and released. And so if you Google Rick Moss, he's got a little 10-minute session that he does on Facebook with you that helps you, guides you through this arena of recognizing there is fear and then releasing it and letting it go. And so I think that's a wise thing to do. Another person that I have been able to check on Facebook again is my wonderful mentor and teacher, Reverend Martha Creek. Martha Creek is a unity minister, and she has about a 10-minute talk on there as well about recognizing that we are human, there is fear, and that what are we to do about it now? What can we really do at this moment in time? Well, one of the best things and first things that we can do is to know that we are in and of this one power and presence that is whole, that is complete, that is perfect, that is what we are in individualized expression. And so that we can hold that truth for everyone. We can use our positive, affirmative prayer work to see that for everyone. I mean, there are people who are sick. There are people who are, really going through these symptoms. And so let's give our energy to see them in their wholeness, to give them that gift that we can do that for them, because we know we're all united, we're all one. That same energy is flowing through all of us. So what we do for another, we do for ourselves. One of the other postings that I saw yesterday that I thought, oh, that's really cool. She's a minister actually that came from San Diego area, and she thinks she's made her way up to Canada or something, Pat Campbell. And Pat was kind of chiding the people because, in this day and age, right now, today, some of the churches are open, some of the churches are closed. Some of the churches have made decisions to take a hiatus, as we have, for the next couple weeks. And some of them have said, hey, you know what? We're spiritual. We don't need to have this stuff stop us. We'll just keep going. But Pat was saying, whichever way you've chosen to do it, to respond, don't call the other people wrong. Because we're open, we're saying, oh, though they shouldn't have closed. Or if we're closed, well, they shouldn't have been open. And she says, why don't we just recognize the fact that the end result is, bottom line, all of us are just walking each other home. So we all are going within, checking in with our own divine center, our own divine self, and asking, what is it that I personally need to do in response to this pandemic that's going on? I really, really suggest that each of you do that, and do it on a daily basis. I just want to maybe close up this section of this talk about the elephant in the room and all of the things going on in life with that truth that was repeated in the Bible over 1,200 times. It came to pass. It came to pass. I don't know how many people have said, you know what, we can look back in a few months from now and remember what we were doing. I was talking to a guy the other day. He's a younger man, and he goes, I can remember when we had the swine flu, and it was a big deal. Everybody was all concerned about it, but then it passed, it blew over, and then for Halloween, people were dressing up as the swine flu. And I didn't remember that, but he did. And so to recognize that this too shall pass. And honestly, in our teaching, our metaphysical teachings, we want to look at the higher perspective of the whole thing, the bigger picture of the whole thing, and recognize that if we immerse ourselves in the fear, in the drama, and all of that stuff, we are just encouraging more and more of that energy to be produced. And so that's where we come in as metaphysicians to hold our truth, and know it for everyone. So today the topic is angels in disguise, because our plan was to have recognition of our volunteers for our church. We're going to have a brunch and everything, and that has been postponed. It will happen, but not today, not next week. In April, I'm sure we'll get it together. But then I thought, well, how appropriate to honor and our volunteers by giving them a day off. You know, they don't have to be here to make the coffee and clean up afterward and all that stuff. And so we want to recognize that there are amazing amount of people in this world who want to give, who want to share, and I know I've heard when I contacted people to tell them we weren't meeting today, oh, I'll miss everybody. And we do. We love the camaraderie, we love the community, and the spiritual food that we get from being together, honestly. And so I would, again, commend you and recommend that you take the time to go within and tap into your own guidance, your own higher self, and ask it, what is up for me today? I wanted to share with you, because I thought it was so poignant, one of the readings from Opening Doors Within. It was actually yesterday's reading. This is we call it a channeled type of a book reading that Eileen Cady has written all of these, and this one is, it says, your work is to create the new heaven and the new earth. Therefore, do not dwell on the troubles and tribulations, on the disease and suffering, on the wars and strife in the world. Do not allow yourself to become part of the disease and not the cure. As you raise your consciousness, you become immunized against the trouble in the world, and you can live and work with it all about you, and yet it will not be able to touch or affect you in any way. A doctor or nurse has to be immunized to be able to work freely with highly infectious diseases, and there must be no fear in them. Let there be no fear in you as you watch the situation in the world become worse. Never despair. Simply hold on to the faith. Let your mind be stayed on me and know that all is very, very well. I thought, wow, how appropriate, how poignant and timely that message is for us today. So I'm trusting that, the absolute right and perfect people are going to be seeing this message today, and that I'm honoring all of my wonderful volunteers in our Alpine Church of Spiritual Living that give, the 20% that give the 80%. And I know that they are loving what they're doing all the time. And I know that when we come back in full force, that we'll be even more able to give from our true source. We're taking the time now to be able to go within. We don't have to run here. We don't have to run there. What are you going to be able to do? You're going to be able to maybe read more of your spiritual literature. You're going to be able to pray more. You're going to be able to meditate more. And what a gift that is, really. This is, we're in the middle of the Lenten season. Easter is coming on April 12th. And so when we are, usually in Lent, you give up something. You release something. Well, how about releasing fear? How about releasing the negativity that is bombarding us all around, and allow ourselves to be open to the gift, really, that is here this morning. I woke up and we've had some rain. It's been great. The pond by my house is full to the little circles that let it go to the next pond, which is behind the house. And it's been rainy and it's been cloudy. This morning I woke up to the birds singing and the sun shining, and I walked out to the living room, and lo and behold, it was just as the sun was coming up. And I love it because as it does, that eastern light coming in just creates a beautiful shadow on El Cap Mountain. I hadn't seen El Cap Mountain in days. Now, I knew it was there, but I couldn't see it because it was hidden by all those clouds. Remember that power, that presence, that energy is within us in full force, whether we can see it or not. Have faith in that. Have faith in the knowledge that this power and presence is right here, always with me. When I open up to it consciously, I'm able to allow it to lead and guide me. So I want you to remember that this too shall pass, that we are beings of light eternally, always equipped with everything that we have need of, and that we are united as one. This global community is feeling for each other. I don't care if you're in China or if you're in Italy or where you are, that we do have this connection with each other. So I wanted to wrap this up this morning with the topic that was in our Unity Daily Word, actually for today. And the topic of it is pray for others. As I pray for others, I affirm unfolding good in their lives and in mine. Honored by the trust of those who request my prayers, I listen with compassion and then release all thoughts of illness, lack, limitation, or inharmony, knowing that my responsibility is not to set the situation right, but to see it rightly. I look beyond challenging conditions and attune to the essential truth that the one for whom I pray is created in God's image and is seeking to express God's likeness, just as all people are, just as I am. I know that the divine presence, the Christ, is present both in me and in the one for whom I pray. It restores wholeness in mind, body, and emotions, guiding all decisions, inspiring prospering ideas, and bringing harmony and peace to all relationships. And from Psalms 145, verse 18, the Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. Know the truth this week. Stay with it. Stay attuned to that power and presence that is in and through all. And have a fabulous week, trusting that God is leading you and guiding you. Amen. Thank you.